So a couple of days ago, the news came out that some rich asshole has bought Marilyn Monroe's house in LA and they filed for demolition. The house that Marilyn bought for herself, lived 6 months in it, renovated it by herself and in her personal liking. The house that she more or less employed as a psychological remedy, as a sort of a safe space in her personal life, where she could finally feel like she could find stability, the sensation of a permanent, unchanging, and secure place she could call home, and of course the spot where she could potentially realize the idea of having a true family, something she obviously lacked for and struggled to find her entire life. In a life of constant difficulty and personal insecurity, this house symbolized for her at last something constant, something that was her own, no matter what. Something that wouldn't just walk away at any point. As a person who struggles with loneliness myself, I can absolutely relate to that. One needs solid symbols of stability in their life. One needs to have something that doesn't change, because life is basically chaos and ever changing. This is a great fear of mine, and for all people actually. This is why people create religion. This is why they cling to tradition. Nothing is ever secure. You lose people, you lose money, you lose your health, jobs change, everything can fucking flip around in a second, and you're once again thrown in a pot of desperation and never ending insecurity. This really is something that never stops bothering me, especially as a person who is non religious and especially as a person who doesn't give a fuck about societal conservatism. And I feel the need to have something in my life that is like a rock, constant, unchanging, secure, something that I can psychologically lean on when I feel the wild river of life bashing me around. That's why I create art by painting. That's why I record myself for the internet. The thought that my paintings and my audio will remain long after I'm dead gives me an insane amount of relaxation. And it was the same for Marilyn psychologically. In all her life, even despite the fact that she was insanely famous, she suffered from this lack of a rock in her life, and she was struggling to find it. And in the last years of her life, 1 year of her life, she found this rock in the form of this house. This house literally symbolizes her emotional growth and her finally being able to start finding herself. And of course, it's also the house where she died, so there's that little thing. And so a rich piece of shit has now bought it and wants it demolished. And I guess the city has approved it, so now it's only a matter of time. And I know, I mean, there's some initiatives to save it by people like myself who love Maryland, but you'll have to excuse me if I'm skeptical about them actually managing to save it. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think they're gonna tear the house down anyway. And I thought so from the very beginning, from the first moment I heard it. It pains me, it really does. It was one of my dreams, and actually, maybe the only fucking reason I ever planned on visiting the US at some point, to visit Marilyn's grave and her house in LA. But what can I say? At this point in my life, I've made my peace with this kind of thing, I guess. Because as a lover of history, this kind of pain has been inflicted on me many times. I mean, look at the fucking Colosseum. Look at the Mausoleum of Augustus. What it looked like a few years ago when I went to visit. It was basically a bushy pile of garbage where cats lived and people pissed. In 2015, ISIS was blowing up unique, amazing ancient temples and tombs in Palmyra, and it took me weeks to get past the trauma of watching those videos. And the big Renaissance fortress in my hometown, the fortress which I grew up around, is now starting to crumble. Many, many things in history are being lost all the time, and it hurts. But I've realized it's not worth to wobble in this pain because the ruin of time and anthropogenic change is inevitable. Not that I'm saying nothing should be done, by all means, fight the battle against stupidity. Fight to save culture and history always. But my point is, when it comes to this, I'm prepared for the worst. If this asshole doesn't destroy Marilyn's house, someone else will at some point. And to be honest, I'm a bit angry about people bringing this up so much now, but when Betty White's house was destroyed shortly after she died, no one said anything, given that Betty White was immensely iconic as well. Just people being selective based on the level of marketability of the celebrity, which is annoying as fuck. Anyway, the point is, I think they'll probably destroy Marilyn's house, and it will once again stab my little history geek's heart, and it will hurt as hell. But at the end of the day, it'll be fine, because Marilyn's legacy will be fine as well. She'll always be there, always famous as hell, always smiling at us from the pictures, always singing to us and entertaining us from the screen, forever beautiful and forever young. She might be physically gone and her house might get demolished, but that doesn't really hurt Marilyn. We're basically afraid of time, but now time cannot harm Marilyn. Nothing can touch her. Neither time nor demolishers, not even that pathetic fucking bitch Kim Kardashian. She has become an immortal part of our zeitgeist, literally for as long as humanity will exist. So I don't think we need to worry about Marilyn. We should be worrying about ourselves and our own legacies instead, because next to her, we're all pathetic fucks